Curry. Is there anything more hearty or nourishing than a good curry? Well, I think not. So today we're going to run through quite a basic curry that's centered around the use of chickpeas. It's going to be hearty, it's going to be tasty, affordable to make, and it can be all ready on the table within 30 minutes. So let's get stuck straight into that. Now, a curry would taste no good without aromatics, so we of course are going to put in some onion and some garlic. I didn't actually have any fresh ginger, but if you have some, put in a bunch of that. So we're going to roughly chop up this onion here. We're just going to dice it, nothing too fancy, just into small fractions and then cubed and diced. And a sharp knife always helps. And the best tools in the kitchen, hands down. Move that onion off to the side there. I'm going to use fresh garlic. I'm going to use maybe 3 or 4 cloves, should be enough. Just smash that out. I'm going to choose the bigger cloves because peeling garlic, hey? And nobody really likes peeling garlic, but the best way really I find is just to crush it first, and then you can take off the skins pretty easily that way. Rather than chopping or grating up the garlic, we're just going to finely slice it, because we will be frying down this. Now that we've got the garlic and the onion all ready, a really great ingredient to add to this, of course, is turmeric. Now you can add that as a dry powder. I've actually got some fresh stuff here, which I think is actually a little better. So if you do happen to have fresh turmeric, definitely use that, but in saying that, the powder is absolutely fine. And because turmeric is really good at staining things, I always like to do it on a metal grate. I actually don't even bother skinning these or taking the skin off, because the skin's quite thin typically on turmeric, and that will be more than enough. You can see that quantity there. So with the turmeric all sorted, again, this stuff stains really bad, so be quite careful with this. I'm going to put this off to the side. Next thing I've got here is a nice fresh capsicum. There's a really great technique to this. The best way that I've found to chop up capsicum is to take the head off, then to take the tail off, and you'll see that there's a few connections to the main body there. You actually just want to run your knife parallel against one of those, and you should see that open up nicely. Following that, you can kind of butterfly it along like this and take that kind of white core out, because that doesn't go very well in food, and that should come out quite nicely like that. Following that, we can chop this up roughly, because again, this is just a quick recipe, so we're just going to go into sticks like this. And then I'll just rotate these and run my knife once more through, and we'll kind of get nicely diced capsicum there. Now, all that I actually had available were some cherry tomatoes, so we're going to use these. You can of course use any type of tomato. Some Roma tomatoes look great, vine ripened tomatoes, you name it, they can all work for this one. We're just going to chop this up so that when we do put them on the heat, they'll start to break down, because when cherry tomatoes, or any tomato for that matter, is whole and you start cooking it, it does take a bit longer to break down those skins. So we're just going to chop them in half for now. That should be more than enough. Any bigger ones we can just chop into quarters as well. And any bigger ones yet, we just kind of want them about that size there. So we've got our onion, we've got our garlic, we've got our tomatoes, we've got our capsicum as well. One other thing we need, of course, are our chickpeas. Now you can cook dried chickpeas. I think that probably would be the better option, especially for taste. I'm just going to use canned chickpeas for this instance, because that will save us quite a bit of time. The other ingredient that we'll be using, just for a bit of iron, is some baby spinach. Now we're going to put this at the end just to wilt that down. And the final thing, and by no means the least important thing we need to consider, are spices. Now you can choose and pick your own spices, and as you come to play with them, you come to understand how much to use, what to use, etc. For this particular recipe, we're going to be using some paprika, some ground coriander, some garlic, some garam masala. We have cumin seeds as well, and some onion powder. And let's go through how much of those we should be using at once. We're going to get some salt, going to be about 2 pinches of that. We've got some pepper. We've got 2 big pinches of that as well. 2 teaspoons, relatively large heaped teaspoons of paprika. Let's call it 3. 1 1/2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, and we'll also go 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. We're going to take that and we'll mix that up nicely so we have just a nice spice mix. So in a nice saucepan, we're just going to preheat that until it's nice and hot. So once your pan is going, we're going to add some olive oil. I know, not traditional, but again, this is just a tasty curry that you can make on a weeknight pretty easily. And to that, we'll add the onion and the garlic that we of course chopped up before. We're just going to cook that down a bit. We're not really trying to get any colour on that. We're just trying to tenderize them and get the onion nice and soft. We'll take our turmeric and add that straight in there. Now this should bring quite a lot of lovely, deep, rich orange colour. We're going to take our spice mix and we're going to add that into the pot. Going to toast those spices down. Now it's really important now that we don't burn these spices because that is really easy to do. I'm going to add the capsicum first just to bring that a bit of softness down into the capsicum there. Once that capsicum is cooked, we're going to start adding the tomatoes as well. Give them a nice stir and that should break down. Those tomatoes should slowly start breaking down. I'm going to add a bit of water just to help things moving along. So you can see those tomatoes just starting to break down there. Starting to look nice. You can see there's a few of them that I didn't actually chop up and they're the ones that aren't actually breaking down. So make sure you get all of them. So I've just drained and washed these chickpeas here. We're going to just add them into the pan and stir them around. And to that I've just added 1 can of coconut milk. That's just going to thicken things up and help things become nice and creamy. So make sure coconut milk, not coconut cream. Lastly, for just a bit of extra flavour, I'm going to add some bay leaves in there. Maybe just 2 or 3, even some pieces of bay leaves. There we go. And we just want that on a gentle rolling boil just to reduce down. It's been very beige up until now, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take some baby spinach, super lovely dark leafy green vegetable, which is full of vitamin K and it's full of iron as well. Really important nutrients to make sure that we stay healthy. We're just going to take this. We don't have to be on the heat for this. Spinach wilts really, really easily. So I've just taken this off the stove. And what we're going to do, we're going to add all of that. Now that might look like a lot. We're going to add all of it in and it's going to basically turn into nothing. But it's a lovely way to just pack a bit more extra nutrient into your food. We'll just stir that in and that should all wilt down quite nicely. And for a final bit of acidity, I'm just going to add a small amount of lemon to this. This will just kind of brighten things up a little bit. Just squeeze a bunch of lemon juice in there. And of course, this is a very important herb. We have some coriander here. Now I'm going to add about 1/2 bunch into the actual curry itself. This is important to do at the end, otherwise those flavors just kind of muddle together and the coriander doesn't have that vibrancy it normally does. So we're going to run our knife through this and just chop this up, just kind of shredded. And once we've done that, we can scoop that all up and put that in there. That'll bring a nice bit of extra color as well. And then all that's left is we've just got to get our rice that we've just finished off in the rice cooker. Just a good healthy serving of that. Go and take some of our lovely curry that we've just gone and made. And you know what? We'll take a wedge of lemon. We're just going to add that in there. And just to finish that off, we're going to take just a little bit more coriander. And And we'll decorate that just to have that nice and green. We'll just run a knife through these as well. And this will just add a nice, lovely bit of texture. We'll add our cashews on top there. And there you have it. A lovely, beautiful, healthy meal packed with nutrients, packed with veggies, packed with goodness that still tastes good and is ready within 30 minutes.